Hello, my name is Ugo Nwosu. I'm a PhD student at Simon Fraser University in the Department of Chemistry, and today I'll be giving my final OLS talk, Saturday sessions, scientific computing workshops for equity-seeking students. Firstly, the motivation for my project. The Digital Research Alliance of Canada offers a number of research computing services for Canadian researchers. However, the learning curve for someone not exactly familiar with these resources is quite steep. And therein lies the motivation for my project, that researchers from diverse disciplines such as computational chemistry, artificial intelligence, and mathematical finance, for example, can benefit from improved proficiency in Digital Research Alliance of Canada resources. In this way, the more widespread and equitable use of DRAC resources can be realized. To this effect, I then developed the following vision for my project. That is to develop open workshops and tutorials to improve proficiency in and awareness of DRAC resources in equity-seeking groups. Now, the operating word here being open, meaning that all materials and all resources that are produced as a result of my project are available for everyone, thereby lowering the barrier to entry, which in particular for equity-seeking groups tends to be higher. The timeline for my project then began in the August of 2024, and for the last 4 months of 2024, I was identifying target users and contributors within the OLS framework, in addition to learning about the DRAC resources that I was not already familiar with as a result of my current research activities. From there, I then transitioned into content creation at the end of last year and beginning of this year, which I launched the collaboration space on GitHub where you could find any updates to the project. And then I also began planning the workshops, which also included writing the tutorials for those workshops. Now, the screenshot shown at the bottom of the page is actually from the live web page, which contains some example scripts for the tutorials that are going to be used during the workshops. My plan for the continued development of my project is that as more workshops and as more tutorials are developed, that these will all be available both on the GitHub repository as well as on the website, and as well as available on the Python package index, where you can download all software and scripts necessary to run the tutorials. Now, for March of this year, I'll then continue with content delivery, which includes delivering the workshops, and then also updating the GitHub repository with any edits, issues, questions that arise during the development of the project. Finally, then I'll be completing the DRAC report as required for the project. If you're interested in the future work for the project, I encourage you to keep up to date with any one of the sources. Primarily, all updates will be made on the GitHub repository first, which you can find at ugognw/Saturdays. That will be the home base for all edits. If you have any questions about the tutorials, if you notice any errors or want to make any edits to the project, you can do so from the GitHub repository. Secondly, if you're not interested in making edits and you just want the information, you can always just go to the webpage in which all the information from the GitHub repository will be there as well. The webpage you can find at ugognw.github.io/Saturdays. And then finally, if you're familiar with the Python packaging infrastructure, you can find all software and scripts, as well as any prerequisite Python software that are necessary for the tutorials. You can install those simply with pip install Saturdays from the command line, and that will install the current version of the project in a Python package form. Version 0.01 is live, but it doesn't really contain much at the moment. Finally, I would like to thank my OLS mentor and EDIA mentor, Dr. Alexia Cardona, and Dr. Samir Sirostami. And then finally, in addition, also thank my funding, the source of my funding, the Digital Research Alliance of Canada.